A man walks onto a bodybuilding stage. Lights up, crowd watching. Judges with clipboards. He hits his first pose, and behind him, pinned to a board for everyone to see, are photographs, not of the man standing on that stage, of the man he used to be, 440 pounds. The man people laughed at, the man people said would never change, the man who for years believed them. In a few minutes, you're going to understand how a person gets from those photographs to that stage. But first, you need to understand what it costs to live in a body the world has already decided is a joke. At 440 pounds, Elmer had become invincible. Not because people couldn't see him, because they stopped seeing. They saw the weight, the stereotype, the punchline. They saw a future that looked exactly like the past. And eventually, so did he. When you've spent most of your life overweight, something strange happens. The insults stop hurting. Not because you're stronger, because you get used to them. The stares, the comments, the laughter, the assumptions. After enough years, humiliation stops feeling like an event. It starts feeling normal. And that's where Elmer lived. A world where every chair was a question. Every photograph was a threat. Every mirror was a reminder. A world where simply existing in public felt exhausting. Food became the escape. Not because he was weak, because it worked for a few minutes. Food didn't judge him. Food didn't laugh. Food didn't remind him what everyone else saw. So he kept eating, and the weight kept climbing. 300 pounds, 350, 400, then beyond. Until one day he found himself staring at a number that didn't even feel human anymore. Around 440 pounds. Most people hear that number and think about health. Elmer wasn't thinking about health. He was thinking about time, because while his weight was growing, his child was growing too. And children don't wait. They don't stay 5 forever, or 7 forever, or 10 forever. One day they're asking to play, then suddenly they've grown. And somewhere along the way, Elmer realized something that terrified him. His child was collecting memories, and he wasn't sure how many of those memories he wanted them to keep. Not because he wasn't a good father, because he wasn't the father he knew he could be. There are moments in life that feel like crossroads. Moments where the future quietly asks a question. Keep going or change? Elmer chose change. Not because he was confident, not because he was motivated, not because he suddenly believed in himself. He chose change because staying the same had become more painful than being afraid. So he made a decision. Bariatric surgery. And immediately people had opinions. Cheater! Shortcut! Easy way out. Funny. Most people call it a shortcut because they've never had to take the road. Because surgery does not rebuild your confidence. Surgery doesn't wake you up early. Surgery doesn't teach discipline. Surgery doesn't teach you how to look in the mirror after decades of self-hatred. Surgery changes your stomach. That's it. Everything else still belongs to you. And Elmer got to work. The weight started falling. 10 pounds, 20, 50, 100. For the first time in years, the scale was moving in the right direction. But something far more important was happening. His identity was moving too. The man who spent years avoiding attention started walking into gyms. The man who hated mirrors started checking them. The man who thought his story was over started imagining a different ending. And that's where most people misunderstand transformation. They think confidence comes first. It doesn't. Confidence comes after the workouts, after the failures, after the days you wanted to quit, after proving something to yourself over and over again. Confidence isn't a cause, it's a receipt. And Elmer was earning it, one day at a time. The weight kept dropping. 100, then 150, then over 200. The physical transformation was shocking, but the mental transformation was even bigger because the goal was changing. At first, he wanted to lose weight. Then, he wanted to get stronger. Then, he wanted to find out what he was actually capable of. For the first time in his life, he wasn't trying to become smaller. He was trying to become more disciplined, more present, more confident. This same world that once laughed at him started cheering for him. This same internet that once judged him started following him. People saw the transformation, but they didn't see the battle. They didn't see the mornings he didn't feel like showing up. They didn't see the doubts. They didn't see the years of shame still sitting quietly in the corner of his mind. Because here's a truth nobody tells you. You can lose 200 pounds and still carry the person you used to be. Not physically, mentally. The body changes faster than the story in your head. And Elmer has talked openly about that. About struggling with body image. About still seeing pieces of the old version. And still fighting battles no one else can see. Which is exactly why this story matters. Not because it's perfect, but because it's honest. Most transformation stories end with the after photo. Elmer's story starts there. Because after the applause fades, after the comments stop, after the scale stops moving, you still have to live with yourself. And Elmer kept doing the work. Then he made a decision that would have sounded completely insane to the man he used to be. He entered a bodybuilding competition. Think about that. A man who spent years trying not to be seen, volunteered to stand under bright lights while strangers judged his body. Years earlier, he wanted to disappear. Now, he was choosing to be seen. Months of preparation followed. Training, dieting, posing, sacrifice. Then competition day arrived. The lights came up. The judges sat down. The crowd watched. And Elmer walked onto that stage, but he didn't come alone. He brought photographs. Photographs of the man everyone thought would always be the big guy. Photographs of the man people laughed at. Photographs of the man the world had already given up on. And he put them on display behind him. Not because he was ashamed, because he wasn't. He did it because he wanted everyone in that room to see both versions at the same time. The man they thought was permanent, and the man standing in front of them, proven he wasn't. And somewhere in that crowd was the real reason any of this happened. His child. The same child who unknowingly became the turning point of his story. The same child who gave meaning to every difficult day. The same child who watched their father walk onto that stage. Not hiding, not apologizing, not shrinking himself to make other people comfortable. just standing there, taking up space on purpose. And maybe that's the moment that matters most. Not the medal, not the muscle, not the photographs. That moment. Because one day his child will remember who their father was. And they won't remember a number on a scale. They'll remember what he showed them. That people can change. That hard things are possible. That your worst chapter doesn't get to write the ending. The people who looked at a 440-pound man and thought they knew exactly how his life would end were wrong. Not because he lost weight, not because he built muscle, not because he stepped on that stage. They were wrong because Elmer refused to accept a future that someone else had written for him. The medal came later. The applause came later. The transformation came later. The victory happened much earlier. The victory happened the day a father looked at his child and decided they deserve a different version of him. Everything after that was just proof.